mayonayo.
I fell over this week for the first time in a long time.
Oh, how did that go?
It was A, embarrassing, and B, I'm taking special big pink pills to help me survive the pain.
What, like painkillers?
Yeah. Don't worry about that. That's just the cuckoo clock.
I was going to say.
Keep it in.
It's annoyingly not in shot for either of us.
Man.
But it was in the context of sport, so it's a bit less.
Okay.
Oh, right, yeah. 'Cause
I thought you just like took a tumble like
stacked it in the
Sainsbury's or
street.
something.
Yeah, that would be worse. It wasn't that, but it was bad because it happened twice. It never happens. I've never fallen over at basketball, and it happened twice, and it was exactly the same thing. And I was sprinting down the court, right, and then I was turning because I was on a fast break. Yeah, for all you basketball fans.
Yeah. So
And,
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what a fast break is?
basketball?
I don't. I think I do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's okay. People don't need to know.
Yeah.
I was running and someone was throwing the ball from the other end of the court. So I was kind of turning to clock where it was and also to catch it. And both times exactly the same thing happened. And I just tripped over my feet, sort of like backpedaling. I just flew backwards and landed like on my tailbone on my lower back. And the first time I managed to not hit my head on the ground. But the second time, I think probably my neck muscles were like
Tired from the first time.
And so the second time I cracked my head on the
man.
court. And everyone was like, why did this happen twice? And I was seeing stars, literally.
Did you sit out?
Like, it went dark. No, I sort of lay on the floor for a minute and then I kept playing. But it was very near the end.
Back of the head's dangerous. You could,
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
What do you not remember?
I remember everything. I think
The fact that you
How
remember
do you
this is kind of,
exactly. I remember the story, so I must be fine.
Yeah, but there could be so many things from your past that
They've gone. They were
wouldn't
gone
know.
anyway. Everyone will tell you got the West Money. But yeah, that was 2 days ago, and today it's getting worse. That's good, isn't it?
I sort of fell over at work
Did you?
the other week because we have a lot of stairs in our building, and we've actually just gone up a floor.
Yeah.
So now, like, just getting to my desk, it feels like a commute, and my heart pretty much is like I'm ready to keel over by the time I get to my desk. Anyway, I don't know, I just like fumbled and really hurt my knee. Like landed on a straight leg somehow. And for the rest of the day, I was just like...
Hyperextended the knee?
Yeah, basically. Just
sucks.
in a work context, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
It's
isn't
not,
quite... Did anyone see?
it's not ideal, no.
Okay, that's
Played it
fine
off.
then.
Yeah,
When
played
did
it
you last have a fall?
Don't remember actually.
Don't remember?
off. That's probably how it should be. Adults aren't supposed to fall over.
No.
But that's often because I'm at home more than I should be. So
Really?
it's probably why.
Just all covered in blankets and just safe.
Yeah.
Just tucked up.
Yeah.
We always used to have the conversation about when does it swap from I fell over to I had a fall?
At what age?
At what age?
That's a good question.
I think I'm 31, so I'm still saying I fell over.
Yeah, you
You
fell
shouldn't
over.
be having falls at 31.
No,
That's drastic.
no.
Concerning, even.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to let everyone know that if I throw up, it's probably concussion.
Serious head injury.
Yeah.
All right. Bear that in mind.
Yeah. So thanks for coming along.
Yeah, of course.
We're doing podcasts more regularly, aren't we? People are going to get used to it.
Yeah, there's 3 now,
This is our
Oh,
third one.
wow.
which is a lot.
It is a lot. Well, we're very excited to have Praise with us. Ostensibly, which is a nice word, because we're having a show together in a month or so, but also because we wanted you to come and hang out, talk about music, which we're going to mainly do. I wanted to get a little bit of history from you because I know you haven't been releasing music, or at least on my radar, you haven't been releasing music for that long.
No,
like
not at all.
way less than us. So you've got an album, and we'll talk about the album that came out in 2023. But when did the first stuff come out, and actually go back beyond that? Like, have you been writing music for a long period before that, and you just only decided to put music out recently? Like, what's the story?
Yeah, so I think the first stuff that I started to release was in 2020. So literally in the middle of the pandemic, which is kind of mad. But I don't think I was writing music like seriously. It's something that I always wanted to do and I thought was pretty cool, but didn't think that I had the ability to do it. And I was very shy and just like was fine to stay like behind closed doors kind of thing. And then it was only until uni that I started like this kind of band or like collective idea with a friend of mine, a couple of friends of mine. And then when COVID happened, that dissolved as well. So by the end of it, I was just like, maybe music isn't for me. I'm just going to sit down and do nothing. But
for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I was already doing my chemistry degree. So I was like, well, there we go. I'll be a chemist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think during the pandemic then, like everyone was connecting on social media in a way that they weren't doing before. So a lot of the artists that I used to listen to, like I don't know, I think I just started to connect with people on social media. And then a friend of...
Music people?
Yes, exactly. So a friend of mine, his artist name is Wild, real name is Paul.
Yeah.
Then he did like a collaborative project thing. So I got involved with that, thinking that it was just going to be some fun thing that we all put on SoundCloud, yay, and then move on. But then like it was actually put on Spotify and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I connected with Stephen Bradley as well.
Yeah.
Again, over social media.
Yeah.
And at first he didn't know I could sing. He just followed me because I was supporting like Good Christian Music Blog and that kind of stuff. So then I started curating the playlists for him for a bit.
Right.
And yeah, at that time he didn't know that I could sing. And then when he found out, he was like, oh, I'm doing a cover of What a Beautiful Name. Do you want to sing on it? So I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And then literally just, it felt like one thing led to another. And then now I'm a full-fledged artist. I'm just like, it very much felt like imposter syndrome kind of thing, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, this artist who's been doing it for time. And I'm just like, I literally just arrived.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then I started taking it a bit more seriously like the year after. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's funny, like it'll be interesting to see how many times Stephen's name comes up when we talk to people like you and other people in the industry, because like he's been a big part of our story as well. And we'll have to like try and get him to have a chat at some point,
definitely.
Yeah, he's, for people who don't know, ran a channel on YouTube that kind of started us off as well in terms of our following. So we've got a lot to thank Stephen for. But going back then, you were playing and singing growing up, that's just what you did. Is music a big thing in your family?
It is, but I was definitely a closet singer. Like no one in my family knew I could sing until I got to uni.
Seriously? That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
So were they surprised when you started putting music out?
Yeah, so I think I started singing like slightly before that. So like in a church setting, like I joined the worship team, and they were shocked by that, and I was shocked by that. But
shocked by yourself?
Yeah, quite literally. But yeah, and then it just started to develop from there. But my dad plays bass, well, guitar, and then my mum sings, and we have this kind of like running joke that the reason I sing today is because when she was pregnant with me, she was like in the choir right up until like full term.
Nice.
So
it worked.
Passed on to me.
Yeah.
And like also when she was pregnant with my big brother, she was like a gym freak, and he's also a gym freak. So I'm just like, that's what happened.
Science going on.
I've got a unborn baby at the moment, and all he gets is Clay just shouting
straight
into Lauren's stomach. Yeah. And like, so I don't know
hearing
what that's
him
going to
just
mean.
smash drums and stuff like that. Yeah.
So maybe maybe the baby will come out all wrong.
He'll be an absolute maniac. He'll scream and play drums.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Cool.
It'll do.
Yeah, it's cool. So, okay, I have never seen you play guitar, but do you play guitar?
Very like beginner.
Okay.
I kind of use it to write stuff, and then I hand it off to a producer who can like make it better, but not really comfortable with like playing in front of people yet.
Okay. So what, like live performance, you sing but don't play instruments?
Yeah.
So when you write on guitar, but just at like a, okay.
Yeah.
Because I asked, because when I listen to your album, for me, it's like, there's quite a lot of like folk influence in it for me, like to my ear. Like it reminded me of Wildwood Kim sometimes.
Oh, I love those guys.
Do you like those guys? A couple of tracks on it where I was particularly like, there was like with 3-part harmony and guitar stuff that I felt like this has got a folky vibe to it. And there's quite a lot of acoustic guitar featured. So that's why I wondered whether you were playing that or whether...
Oh no, I wish I was, but I really wasn't. That was my friend Damra's playing guitar. But I do write primarily using guitar, and that's like the main instrument for me. And I think those kind of folky influences are more to do with like my Congolese background. We listen to a lot of like Congolese folk type music, and they love their harmonies and their layering and like guitar stuff. So I think that's kind of what I was trying to emulate in my mind.
Okay.
But yeah.
So what's the like process then? Because you'll write demo stuff on your own on the acoustic guitar or whatever. Do you write with other people? And then when you've got a song, where do you go with it? Am I right in saying you work with Dan Sterling?
Dan Sterling, yeah.
What's the process like?
So it kind of depends, but for most of this album, it was like songs that I had written on my own, or at least started off with some sort of like chords that I'd put together, chord progression, or I'd actually used, have you heard of Soundtrap? So it's like Spotify have this like app that allow people to like make music. It's not sponsored, unfortunately. But like they have some good loops on there. I would use that to like spark ideas.
It's like Splice, like,
I guess.
like
Similar,
samples and
yeah.
riffs and stuff.
So I would use that and then take it to Dan, and like the vocal ideas and the stuff I'd written, he'd keep and then remove the loop, and then we'd
rewrite
music behind that. So that was a really fun way of doing it as well. But I actually haven't really written with people a lot. And if I do, it's just like WhatsApp ideas, like here's a voice note, and then what do you think about this? And then just back and forth. So I've never actually done a proper like co-write. The idea of that kind of scares me. So
too,
I don't know.
Spoke about that with Pete. We did a chat with Pyramid Park this week actually. And he does a lot of that co-writing. Yeah, and I've said to him as well, like it's always, I've never done it either. And the idea of it freaks me out. But for me, it's like a lot of it comes from because I think I'm quite slow.
Yeah.
And the idea of having the pressure of coming up with something in the moment freaks me out.
Same.
You like it? Would you say you're quite a fast songwriter? Like the songs come out quick for you, or do you like take hours, days to get something to where you want it?
It also depends. I feel like there are some songs that come to me naturally just out like in the moment, but that's probably after like 3 months of not writing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or there's then a song that I'm sitting on for months and then I leave and come back and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't think there's like a one way of how it works for me. So it's a bit interesting, but yeah, similar to you. I'm also like a slow processor. Like I process things differently, even like when it comes to emotional stuff. Like it's hard for me to be in the moment of something and then write as I'm feeling it. Like it will probably be in hindsight kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I go about it. But
Maybe we can jump into that then, because one of the things I wanted to ask you about was because you said, I heard you say that your album was about you learning to trust God through challenging times, through trials. And so talk to us about that, like the themes of your album. I want to get into the sort of musical influences a bit as well, like what you were listening to growing up. But yeah, since we're here, what's your album about?
So I was writing that album in like basically the whole of 2022 was kind of how it was coming together. But at the time I wasn't thinking, oh, this is an album. It was literally just my notes in the like app on my phone.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just my way of processing everything that was going on. So I have a younger sister and she has autism and also was diagnosed with epilepsy, but that was later on in life. So she was 21, 22 when she like first had her seizure.
Okay. Really late.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very stressful and very overwhelming for myself, the whole family.
Yeah.
And at first it was just like really manageable. It was like maybe one seizure every couple months or something like that. But then it turned into like a seizure a week and then like 3 seizures a day. And then the worst of it was like one day, I think she had like 11 episodes in one day and had to go to like A&E and stuff. So it was definitely like a very scary time, a very like overwhelming time for all of us, and not knowing how to manage it, like not really knowing how she's doing, because the type of autism is like the nonverbal. So you're having to learn through like, there's no like triggers when you can see something's coming on or like different stuff like that. So it was like, we're all just trying to figure it out kind of thing. But yeah, so the album was based on my experience with God in that time of like, how am I like, where is God in this? And how can I see like God's goodness in all of this that's going on. And I just kind of felt like, especially when it comes to Christian music, we're very peppy and very enthusiastic and optimistic, and it's great. Like there's a space for that, but I feel like there's also room for like questions or very raw feelings in the moment, not just like in hindsight, like, oh, you know, I was like this and now I'm like this, but rather being in the moment, like, oh, I'm actually struggling and this is hard, and
not necessarily having a resolution yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is definitely where I was at the time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And one of the things I'd always said to myself was that I didn't want to like just make an album because that was the next step to do as an artist, like to kind of gain some sort of like to gain your place almost. It's like once you've made an album, you're legit as an artist. But I didn't want to do that unless I felt like I had something to say, because like all of my favorite albums, and I'm sure you'd probably say similar, like a lot of them have some sort of story or are going somewhere or like have some like weight or depth to it rather than just like a collection of songs.
Yes.
So I wanted the same thing. And there was one day when I was writing in my notes app, another idea that was just coming to me. And I just kind of almost felt like the Lord was saying, I'm giving you something to say. And so that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should make this into an album. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it's something that denotes for me, like not to make you feel big-headed about it, but like for me, that is part of what being an artist is, as opposed to just putting songs out. Is like, because we feel very much the same way. It's like, if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to say it. And that's sometimes why we've gone longer periods without putting music out. It's because it's like, I don't want to go and write something. I don't have anything to say right now. So I really respect that approach to it. And I think it shows authenticity and integrity. Did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, it's a struggle balancing that with like the more commercial side of trying to be an artist. Because if you don't have something to say and you're being quite honest about that basically just means that you go quiet for a while. And for us, that's been a challenge where we are just so busy or we don't have anything to say, and so our social medias are quiet and our audience is maybe a bit like, where have you guys gone?
And I think I can go too far with it, because I think like the gospel's always got something to say. So it's not like you can just be like, well, you could always
there's always
more.
ways.
Yeah,
you can go through Psalms.
Totally. Yeah, so I think like you can be brutal about it and be like, unless I have something going on in my life, or unless I feel really strongly about something, I'm not going to say anything at all. And I think that is probably unnecessarily like brutal.
The extreme.
And I think sometimes I do that, but
for us, it's probably also just the fact that we struggle to be consistent, not just in making the music, but just communicating as well.
Yeah.
Like we're generally quite busy. And so keeping up that level, I don't know how you find it, but like being an artist where you are kind of independent and you're handling all of that communication side of things, it's like so much effort. It's like way more than I ever think I'll have the desire or time to do.
Difference is Praise is like, my opinion of you is that you're like you're a people person, right? Is that fair?
Yeah,
because that's how I feel about you, that you love people, right?
Yeah.
So do you find it easier to sort of connect with an audience and do all that stuff?
Ironically, no. Like I think times have changed in the sense that I could before like post anything on my stories, like off to Sainsbury's, like, and it's just like anyone would engage with that. Yeah. But now, unless it's shot on like your DSLR and it's edited and like you've got all this nice color grading, it's like people won't take it in as much.
That's interesting.
So that
feel the pressure
aspect,
more then.
Exactly, stresses me out just a bit.
Okay.
But I do like interacting with people, and I do reply to comments and DMs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Like I struggle with social media a lot, but
okay, because it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but it's weird how people get that impression sometimes. But like even to just come up with an idea to post something, I'm like,
you don't find it a natural thing.
No.
I don't think we do either, and I think we have so many moments where we're like, oh yeah, we need to post something. Have you got something that I can post? And because we're like because we're kind of like detail freaks, we don't, a bit like you, I think we don't like to post something we think is not like top quality or whatever.
Yeah.
And we've loosened, I think, a little bit, but that is massively just like, that slows you down so much because the opportunity to kind of create that kind of content only comes every now and then.
Yeah.
So,
but then again, like, it's up to us, isn't it, what we do? Like, and I think that's nice. We don't have to put something out if we don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, and it's like giving ourselves permission to just be as curated as you want to be. I think some people are much more like, they'll show a lot of their lives online, and some people are less like that. And I don't think either one is necessarily good or bad. I think it has to be authentic. If it's authentically you to share a lot about your life, I think people can connect with it. And if it's not and you're forcing it, I think people know. And I think that's maybe where we're at. Like I think we could force it, but I think people would know that we are, and I just don't think that's what we want to be doing.
Yeah, probably.
It's kind of your aesthetic now. It's like almost mysterious. Like, we don't know who these guys are. They just appear when they want.
They don't give their fan base any attention. And they just post one video every 10 weeks.
I love. I think that's sick about our fan base. I hate that a little bit. But like, what I love about the people that listen to our music is that they seem to stick around.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Like, and that's cool, right?
Which hopefully says that they're there for their music as opposed to anything else.
And that's got to be the best situation.
Yeah. Anyway,
I wanted to ask you, like, well, what are you listening to at the moment? Like, who your favorite artist or artists at the moment? I wanted to ask you that as well. But like, give us an idea of like who you're listening to. I could have gone down another path there that I wanted to talk about for a bit, but I'm aware that we're just like, time is just going.
I know.
Who are you listening to at the moment?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I'm gonna have to check my Spotify.
Really?
Yeah, I might actually check.
I only listen to like 2 artists at a time, so it's easy.
Same.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm tell you what I'm loving at the moment, and had loved for the whole last year. Holly Humberstone.
Yeah.
Do you know her?
No.
I think you'd like her.
Okay.
I just really like her at the moment. I think her sound is, I don't know, her chord progressions are like, they're in my head. Like they're what I would want to write, and the sounds are like I feel like what I like. I also really love Joan. Have you listened to Joan?
I don't know. Don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to send you Joan also. Joan is like, for me, been the theme tune of my entire year last year. And I still listen to the album. Like, it's their debut album.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best debut albums I've heard. Yeah. Like, it's so strong. And I think it's such a big jump from their stuff before that in terms of production and how good, and like the quality of the writing and the aesthetic of the whole album.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And the other thing I'm listening to quite a lot at the moment is Keen.
Wow, that's a throwback.
Just going back to Keen, there's something about like the piano, like the heavy.
That's a vibe.
I don't think I liked it at the time, but there's something weird happens with trends where things come back in, and now I like Keen more than I ever did.
Somewhere only
I used to love them as a kid, actually, surprisingly. That was my jam. That one, it was the keys that did it for me too.
Yeah, there's something solid about it.
Super attacky piano sound.
Yeah. And just good in a live context.
And to be fair, just good songwriting.
Good songwriting.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what it sounds like, I suppose, at the end of the day, if the song is written well.
Yeah. Go on, you go.
Yeah, so I just looked it up now, but I discovered someone recently who's not even new, but her name's Lucy Rose.
Okay.
Okay, I'll send you that one.
Yeah.
But I found that came up on Reels recently, and it literally stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, whoa.
Nice.
I think it's the songwriting, and then like music, like sonically, is just like top tier. I love that. And then there's a band called Joseph. They're like it's a sibling band, and it's literally like 3 sisters, and their harmonies are killer, and like it's so good. I think they recently I think it was an EP they dropped, but I love that. Madison Cunningham as well. Like,
man,
I'm loving that I'm dropping
like
names that you don't know.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better, because I'm like, oh, I have good music to
Yeah. I'm so niche. Like,
it's definitely not niche at all, but like they're amazing. And then a lot of Kinship as well recently.
Okay, no.
I think I've heard of them anyway. So
ding,
there you go.
ding.
Well, him. It's just him.
Okay. So I definitely haven't then.
Oh yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah. Those that's my go-to at the moment.
Okay. Nice. Is any of that, because I don't know any of it, is any of that Christian music?
Kinship is.
Okay, yeah, but the other stuff isn't?
No, not
Yeah, okay,
necessarily.
cool. So you're not the type of person that just like you don't just listen to Christian music. You have quite a wide.
I mostly do,
You do?
like listen to Christian music, but like I also am able to listen to something and admire the beauty of it, or just gain inspiration from different places. So yeah, I like to branch out, but for the most part, like if it's just I'm on my way somewhere and I stick something on, it'll most likely be either the people I mentioned or like my usual playlists kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Nice. Okay, your turn.
I don't know. I go through phases of being massively jaded with music. Like I can't
Just generally.
like I can't really bring myself to listen to anything because I don't like any of it.
Yeah, that's fair. I know what you mean.
And I don't know why that is. Like, obviously, there's loads of really good music out there, but I don't know if it's a problem with my Spotify or something. The only thing it suggests to me nowadays is podcasts, and so I just like I've got nothing new is coming in. But there are a few that like are always reliable for me, which is Half Alive is my main one. And then I don't know, that's really my only solid one right now.
Okay.
And then you have just like songs that you just play, you
Yeah.
just shuffle or whatever. But I'm in a spot where I just don't like anything.
Okay.
Which
it's interesting that you say that though,
yeah,
because like I feel like similar to you, I don't find a lot of my new music on Spotify anymore. Like it's reels, it'll come up on a reel, and I'm like, oh, this is good.
yeah.
So yeah.
Do you find it hard to get into new music, or are you quite like attracted to something new when you hear it? You're like, oh, I want to hear more.
It depends on the song, I think. Yeah, I do like listening to new stuff and finding new things. I'll listen to it once and then just be like, oh, that was exciting, and then move on. But if it's something that like really grabs my attention, then I'll kind of hold on to it. But
Yeah. Do you like films?
not as much as I used to.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm interested in talking when I speak to artists about like the link between like visual stuff and music, because oftentimes I feel like for me, I think the music that I fall in love with quickly is you could almost describe it as cinematic.
Well, that's something that I was thinking about saying, was that I do often sit at work and listen to soundtracks from films.
Yeah.
And it's like the most dramatic stuff for what I'm doing at work.
You're like typing on a keyboard and it's like dun, 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 dun. It's like,
yeah, it's like strings and like, yeah.
I have to put this back for
Bit of
continuity.
pantomime.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's ruined it. But now that you've mentioned it, maybe actually it's fine.
It is fine, but I'm also putting it back.
So yeah, like I listen to the Dune soundtrack a lot when I'm working, which is like it's ridiculous.
What do you think about? Do you play Dune in your head, or do you just like imagine yourself in Dune?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it is like world building almost. It's
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm in the world when not in it, but like I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
Just typing an email, but you're like
it's
conquering
like
the world at the
kind
same time.
regards, and it's like
Riding
Hans Zimmer's going off in the back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how we got there.
I was just saying, yeah, like for me, I think I like cinematic sounding music.
Yeah.
It's like that. I almost feel like it should be a genre.
Yeah,
Like, because anything that like, I think because it's really story-ish, like cinematic music is very dynamic most of the time. And I don't know, it just hits for me.
Yeah.
And so I often do that as well. And when I'm listening to music, I can't help but see visual things. I don't think I ever listen to music and just don't think of anything or just like go blank. For me, it like evokes imagery.
Same.
And I think, and so I love film.
and concepts, just like ideas for me. Like it's not, and that's usually linked to, if you've seen it in a cinematic context, then you link it to a concept that the film is kind of trying to portray or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it's ideas as well, like narrative ideas or whatever.
Yeah. Which ironically, we've never produced a narrative type sort of
Nothing.
because it scares me because it's so hard to do right. You know what I mean? What about videos for you? Like, do you want to do music videos and things? Like, do you have vision for that for your music?
Yeah, I have the vision and no funding, so that's mostly
the
it.
age-old
But
problem,
exactly, I'm working on one at the moment.
Are you?
With a friend of mine, which has been a labour of love to say the least.
Nice.
But we're figuring that out. But yeah, it's one thing getting like all the ideas that I'm seeing here and like actually getting it done.
And sometimes if the ideas in here, you can't execute them because of budget. Like I would just be like, bin it. because I don't want to do it. I'd rather not do it than do it badly.
Yeah,
You know what
I hear that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's almost like being victims of our era where like everything, even to put a post out on socials, I'm like, right, we've got to shoot it on the FX6,
Yeah.
which is this like cinema camera behind us. It's like,
ridiculous.
so the standard that you think you have to create is like so high.
Yeah.
But then again, those limitations are often what creates the art in itself, because I think too many options is just like that stops the process as well, because you just don't know where to start. And
If your talent can compensate, you're winning. Maybe,
So just do it.
If your talent runs out, you're in trouble. You know?
Yeah, I hear that. No, that makes sense. The other problem for me is that like wanting to do a music video, but then I'm also awkward in front of the camera. I'm not one of those, cool artists that just know how to like move in front of a camera. Like thinking about it makes me feel sick.
Really?
I just,
How do you feel about live then? Just does that transfer to your stage performance? Like, do you feel worried about that, or do you not?
No, it's different because I just sing and like hold on to the mic stand. I have zero stage presence. Like
Same. I
mean, you don't need it. You're a drummer. So.
I know, but I still get a lot of comments. You might think that I could get away with it, but it's historically been the thing where it's like,
wow,
who's that robot on the drums?
yeah, you do. Yeah, people notice.
Yeah,
wow.
There's been certain shows where you'll be like well into it. It's almost a problem because it looks like some shows you just don't care.
Yeah,
and that could be the issue. I think it only matters if it looks like you don't care. But what I think the principle again is like authenticity. So if that's you, like I think that's cool.
Yeah,
like,
I've set the precedent now. Like you just know that this was you can get. Like
that's cool, right? That's you. It's not you being disengaged.
Yeah,
it's just you being you.
it's part of your brand as well.
So you're excited for the show on the 23rd?
So excited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a vibe.
Yeah, you telling us earlier before we were recording that it's going to be like full band
vibes. Yeah. So all girl band, because why not?
100%. I'm thinking about getting rid of him again.
Yeah, get half on the drums.
Yeah.
But I mean, we haven't started rehearsing yet, but we'll get on top of that.
Yeah.
But once we do, it's going to be.
And you know what songs you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I did the kind of thing like, oh guys, what songs do you want to hear? But I was just like,
No, we never do that.
Yeah. I'll do the ones I want to do.
Yeah.
The ones I think will be fun live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We do that too, to the point that there's loads of songs that people would want to hear that we just like, it's too hard.
There's
hard
some
to
songs
arrange.
we've just been like, we're not even going to try that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we write stuff in the studio not necessarily thinking about how we'll achieve that. Like, it's like solve that problem later sort of mentality.
I don't know have you had any of those moments where you've kind of like written a song and then going to perform it live, you feel like this is way harder than I anticipated or something?
Yeah, I've literally done that.
Yeah.
I did like a stable session recently.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I saw it, yeah.
And I did my a song of mine, Citadels, and like in the song, it's really groovy and like there's lots of fun stuff going on. But it was literally me and Morgan on the guitar. So the song was done in like a minute and something, and I was just like, oh, I have nothing else to add.
Yeah.
Zero ad libs. I don't have like a mashup to do. Like we were literally before like about to record. Like, Morgan, do you know another song that we can mash it up with? And it was like, it's going to be cheesy. Don't do it. So I was like,
just keep it pure.
Yeah. But it ended up being like a minute and a half or something. But
that's okay.
That's okay sometimes.
Authentic.
I think I don't know about you, but one I seriously struggled with is Closer.
Yeah.
Which was really unfortunate because it was the title track of the album that we put out at the time. And I'm still proud of it as a track on the album, but when we played it live, I was like, what is this? It sounds so bad.
It's harder for you live than it is for me singing it, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just because any of those tracks that we've done that are very, very like
production driven.
Yeah.
And based on a very tight rhythm section.
Yeah. And a specific sound that is then really hard to like reproduce live.
They're difficult, yeah.
It felt like because we played it on main stage at Big Church Day Out, and I was not enjoying myself.
Were you not there that year?
I was. Like, we met that year.
Did we met that year?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I saw you at Illuminate.
Yeah.
And then when it was at
Did we do Illuminate that year as well?
Yeah, but we
we saw you after the show. Yeah.
But I didn't see the program, so I didn't know when you guys were on. And I was just like,
oh no. That's all right. Illuminate actually was just as good for us. If anything, like obviously main stage was a moment.
Yeah.
But like Illuminate that year, because we had done main stage, felt quite freeing and felt like I don't know, it just felt good, and I think that probably showed.
I had a nightmare.
Did you?
Yeah,
have a good show?
Illuminate. I much preferred main stage.
Fair enough.
is it?
The thing is, you can't never tell really. Like people in the audience, I don't think know
No.
necessarily. If you're practiced enough, then you shouldn't be able to come across that you're like not enjoying your in-ear mix or something like that. Or
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that is a big part of it, isn't it?
yeah,
Like if the sound you're hearing is not inspiring, and that's why I always have one ear out, because I want to hear something that's like what's going on in the room rather than be separate. And because I don't love my in-ear mix most of the time, I want to hear what's going on in the room.
There's always just something that's too
Yeah.
loud that doesn't need to be in it.
And it feels a little bit
every now and then
manufactured.
I plug into yours at practice or something, and it's like, what is going on?
good?
Yeah, it's like how do you even why
what's
do
wrong
you
with
even
it?
bother? It's like so hectic. Like
Is it?
some things are really loud and some things I can barely hear. I spend so much time like refining mine because I just don't enjoy myself if it's not right.
Yeah.
And it's a problem, to be honest, because I get so used to a mix that I fiddled with that if it's not what I want on stage, then I'm in my head and I'm like, I can't
Can't get into
be in the moment.
Yeah, it's a problem. Well, don't worry, everyone. None of that will happen in 20
Yeah.
Like, we're all going to be
I was
locked
going
in.
to say, be on top of that.
We'll be on top of it. Okay, cool. Well, we've talked for quite a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we probably should wrap it up. But we're really excited to play with Praise, and there's it's going to be a really fun night. So tickets are still available. Don't know what else to say. Grab them, come and see us, come and hang out. Like, it's going to be a fun time.
What can people who don't currently follow you or have not heard of you at this point, how can they support you or get involved?
How can they connect?
Yeah.
Connect. I'm at Praise Lubangu pretty much everywhere.
You are everywhere.
Well, apart from X. That's
Yeah,
the
well, we're not on
only
X, pretty
platform
sure.
I'm not on.
It's true.
And Snapchat, I don't do that.
Yeah. neither. Okay.
But pretty much everything else.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, come along.
do it.